Hello, hello. This is Heather, aka Planner Mumsy. Today we are going to be talking about my top 10 favorite fountain pens and maybe a couple of honorable mentions. Stay tuned. Okay, y'all, this is a somewhat impromptu video because I put on my list that I wanted to do like a top 10 favorite fountain pen video, and I kind of wanted to do it without like premeditating exactly what fountain pens I was going to choose. I really wanted to just come on and do the video with you and just kind of think about it a little bit as we're processing this together. The way I plan on doing it is I technically have 5 different trays of pens. So this would be considered one tray. And then each drawer in my little fountain pen toolbox, I have 4 of these drawers. So that would essentially make 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 pens from each drawer. And this is the reality. I have more than 10 favorites. I'm just being real. And they're all for different reasons. You know, sometimes it's just because the nib just writes so well and the pen body fits in my hand so well and yada, yada, yada. So for me, I kind of take all of those things into consideration when I'm making a decision on, you know, which pen I really enjoy. I'm just kind of moving a couple more pens over here to get them in a different tray. So we'll start with this first one. Now, right off the bat, this is a tough one because I have my Leonardos in this tray, and I really do enjoy my Leonardos. And I have both my Estes in this tray, and I enjoy my Estes as well. Suffice to say, this is a difficult tray to only pick 2 out of because there are quite a few in here that I really do enjoy. So I think what I'll do is I'll do 2 of my favorites, and I'll do 1 honorable mention. How about that? Okay, so definitely number 1, I would say, would be this limited edition Pilot VP. I showed this in my last pens I bought in the last 6 months video. This was actually my first full-size Vanishing Point. And I wasn't sure if I was going to like it as much as I like the Decimos, but I really did. And I love the color, and this one has a gold nib and it writes like butter. It is definitely one of my absolute favorite pens, and I go to this pen all the time now. So that is definitely one of the 2 of my favorites. Okay, and then if I'm being 1000% honest here, I'm gonna go with this one. And this is a custom pen maker pen, and I believe this is one that Wood Wonders of North Carolina made for me as well. He's one of my favorite bespoke pen makers, so check him out on IG for sure. I want to say I think it really comes down to the body shape of this particular pen, how it lands in my hand and how it feels as I'm writing. And this particular nib, I tuned myself just a little bit, and it is super butter smooth, and I absolutely adore it. I go to this pen actually quite a bit. This is one that I will come back and ink up a lot. And I know some of y'all are like, you're crazy, you picked that pen, oops, sorry, that pen over a Pilot Custom and a Pelican and Leonardo's. And this just and even the Esterbrook's, this just kind of shows y'all that, you know, every one of us will have a different preference. And in that preference, it doesn't always have to be a big pen maker in order to just really be drawn to a pen. This one's just really cool in my opinion, and I just love how it lands in my hand. So I'm definitely gonna have to give this one a number 2 on that. So kudos to Wood Wonders of North Carolina. Harvey, you are the bomb. Honorable mentions would actually not even be technically a fountain pen. Honorable mention for me would be my dip pen with the Kakimori nib. This is a huge go-to for me. I use this for all of my ink sampling. And if you can see this is the brass nib, and they also make it in a steel as well. And I had this blank turned by RiverCityPenCompany, and he has some that kind of have like a lip on the end here. But I was finding some of my inks that I use, like Ferris wheel press, the top of the ink bottles were really kind of small, and I was really struggling to, you know, get this in deep enough. So I went with one that you know, was just kind of like a straight taper here without that bump. The bump does feel a little bit better on your fingers when you're using it for writing, but this, in my opinion, works better for just straight up sampling. And definitely an honorable mention because I use this one all the time. Now, y'all, love my Leonardos, love my Estes. I do enjoy this Pilot Custom, but you know, you just have to pick some, right? That's my first tray. Okay, next, second tray. All right. Ooh, this is a tough one. All right, first one right off the bat, just looking at it, I can tell you is this one here. This particular pen is also a custom. This pen was actually created by Onawhimwoodworks, and this blank is called Papillion. Again, I really want to say a lot of these custom makers, it really comes down to like the weight of the pen, and sometimes, you know, that has to do with the particular design. But most all of these are either Jowo or Bach nibs, and I know I didn't say that right, but whatever. It's just spelled Jowo. I'm not here to be some perfectly articulate person, but I absolutely just love this. It's, even though it's Papillion, it has this sort of like abalone type finish, and I've just always had an affinity for that. And it's weighted very nicely. It just feels so good in my hand. The nib was already tuned, and so it was buttery smooth, and I absolutely love that. So definitely top 1 out of 2 in this particular grouping here. Now, okay, this drawer is all except one. All of these are custom pen makers, and every one of these is absolutely stunning, and every one of these makers I would have to say I really super enjoy. I probably, tough one. I think I would have to go with the Narwhal here. Even though it's spelled Nahvalur, they want you to say Narwhal. Kind of weird to me, but hey, it's their company. They can do what they want. This is done in a PM. I want to say, I can't remember if it was, I think it's a PM1. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm not 100%, but it does have the rose gold trim. This one really writes super, super well. It is a piston fill. I would say I cleaned it and it was a little bit persnickety here, and I have a feeling it's my own fault and not the pen's fault. But I kind of made my pen cap just a smidge loose when I did that, but it's fine. It'll be fine. It didn't hurt the pen in any way. I just didn't put it back together right. But this one has been a really good overall pen, and, you know, just never fails to write, super smooth, and I have really enjoyed this Nautilus version. You can kind of see the little like ink windows, which are reminiscent of the little windows that you would have on a boat, and that's just kind of a neat little extra there. As an honorable mention in this pile, I think I would really have to go, well, I think I'd end up going with this one, this Tamenuri Studios white Urushi Raiden pen. And I know I didn't say all that stuff right either. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just terrible with pronunciation of all of it. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous pen. And I think for me, the fact that so much time and effort was put into this pen, and let me see if I can really get it. There you go. You can kind of see all the flecks and just all the work that was put into it. I think all of those definitely gives this one an honorable mention. Okay, next tray. This one will be easier for me to say what my favorites are. Smaller tray, lower end pens for sure. I am definitely number one without any question. Am going here with, again, another custom, y'all. This is definitely one of my top favorite pens. This pen was made by Analog Pens, and you can find him on IG as well. I will have all of the makers and the pen companies listed in my description box below, so make sure you check that out. Again, this one, you know, probably for the color, for the clip, for the weight in my hand, for the ease of use, and, you know, just how well tuned the nib is and how nicely it writes, how it never dries out, and like I can throw almost any ink at this pen and it just writes flawlessly every single time, which is super important to me. But definitely in this grouping, in my top 10, I would say this one may actually may have even made it into the top 5 if I did a top 5. And then my absolute second favorite here would be this Elmo Montegrappa in, I think, again, it's an abalone. I'm not red abalone. So definitely that red abalone is kind of in my top favorites because it always kind of comes out pink and it's just so beautiful. Honorable mentions in this particular one would definitely be, this is a Sailor 1911 in the mini, and this is definitely in my honorable mention category. It is a mini pen and it has been a really good writer as well. So that is the honorable mention in that tray. Next is this tray, and this one kind of has a mishmash of my TWSBIs, a couple of makers, and my Kawecos. Whew, this one's tough, y'all. Okay, I definitely am gonna say I would pick a Kaweco for sure, because I really, really like them in the double broad nibs. And I think I probably would prefer to choose one in the metal category versus, you know, the plastic sports. And if I had to choose out of these two purples, I think I would choose this one just color-wise. It's definitely in my favorites category. I do like having a smaller pen that I can post, and the metal is just a little more substantial for me. So I definitely would choose this one as one of my top 2 favorites in this little drawer here. If I'm going for my second favorite in here, I'm probably going to choose this one. This is from RiverCityPenCompany, and it's I'm trying to think of the particular blank. It's kind of like one of their diamondy type blanks, and then it has the Operex ends there, which are really pretty. RiverCityPenCompany, another, bespoke maker. This is a super light pen, and it's a really good writer for if I'm doing like long form writing and I know that my hand's gonna get tired. I will definitely ink this one up and use this to, like, for the long haul writing, because it's just so light, and the nib is super smooth and buttery, and it's just easy and a no-fail kind of pen. If I'm doing an honorable mention in this one, it definitely would probably be the TWSBI in the 580 AL line. This particular one is the 580 Rose Gold. I think it's like their second edition. Just for ink capacity is really the biggest reason why I like the TWSBIs. I didn't buy the new one, which is in the Eco line, because I've only kept a couple of my Ecos. The rest I've either given away or plan on selling really cheap, just because I'm just not a huge fan of the Eco line, but I do like their 580 line. So that is that tray. And then last but not least would be these pens here. So I definitely would have to go with the Edison, and this Edison is the Collier limited edition from the Washington DC Pen Show for 2023. I just love this one. It has like the black oxide clip and nib, and I'll show them to you. There's that, and then you can see the nib, and it's just like really cool, and I don't have any other ones like that. And again, the design just makes it land in my hand really well. This was my first Edison pen, and I've been pretty impressed. So it definitely won't be my last, but that's my very first one. And then number 2, as far as favorites go in this pile, would probably be this Walltown Pen. Not sure what his design on this one is, but again, this is another kind of abalone-esque type pen blank. You can really see all that. The custom makers are kind of more of what I'm drawn to rather than the big, huge companies. I do like having some pens from the big companies, but I do really, really enjoy my Bespoke Makers. And this year, my plan is to purchase from some more of the larger companies and not quite so many of the Bespoke Makers, because I just have so many. But this one is a really good writer. It really has, never failed me. And just, the weight in my hand. I like the little gold accents that he did on either side. So definitely a favorite there. And then as an honorable mention, it would probably have to be this this is actually my last fountain pen that I purchased, the pressed flower one from TailoredPenCompany. I really like this design. I like how they taper the inside here. I just find that to be so cool how they did that. And I did show this one in my last video. I'm just looking at the name. This is called the Essex. So if you happen to like, you know, this frame design for the pen, then that's what it is. But I like how it tapers just because it does feel really good in my hand. And this one's been a good writer. I did have to tune the nib a little bit myself. I am kind of learning how to do it and getting halfway decent at it. So that's great because I don't have to send everything out. Obviously, if it was really bad, then I would have to send it out, but I can do most of the basics myself now. And maybe if I get better, I'll do a video showing you how to kind of tune your nibs on a basic level, because I'm not that great and not a professional in any way, shape, or form. But this one would definitely get an honorable mention because of the design and the uniqueness of it, and just, you know, everything all together. But that is it, y'all. That is my top 10 favorite fountain pens from my entire collection. You kind of were able to get a quick glimpse of my entire collection, and that's kind of why I decided to do it by trays, so that you could just kind of see what my collection looks like and kind of like get in my head on where I kind of gravitate towards when it comes to my pens, what I like the most. And I look forward to being able to share more of this content with you guys. Let me know, what would you consider to be your top 5 favorite fountain pens that you own? And are any of my top 10 on your list as well? Let me know. Like and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video.